everyone, it's Casey. Today I have a repair video for you. I actually have a couple repairs that arrived this week, and this is the first one that showed up. So we're going to open it up. I don't know who the artist is. Basically, the customer got the doll, and it sounds like the string broke. It's unclear. The customer thinks she might have pulled too hard, but unless you're pulling in the wrong direction, that shouldn't really happen. So I wanted to make this video to talk a little bit about strings in general, and how to safely pull on them. So a lot of times people pull, especially those that are new to Blythe, pull down on the strings, and you don't want to pull down. I know it sometimes happens. I sometimes forget myself and do it, especially when a doll has really long or full hair. It's easier to just pull down. But you actually want to pull straight back at sort of like a 90-degree angle from the doll. That's the safest way to pull the strings. Also, if you're finding that you have to pull really hard, there could be something wrong inside, or that the eyes are too thick, or for some reason it's not turning. You should not have to pull super hard to change the strings or to change the eyes. So don't force it, because if you do, this is what can happen. So look, what a pretty bag she came in. Love this fabric. Oh, it's got a nice zipper and everything. How sweet. So there she is. She's super cute. And so she's got one string here. I don't know if, oh, there's the other one. So there's the other pull string. Looks like it might be a little bit thinner than the string that I use, but not by much. So I'm not sure what happened. So we're going to open her up and take a look and see. I'm also going to check and make sure that she doesn't have any of those really thick eye chips, and make sure that that's not why it's hard for them to change, because I suspect that potentially the customer pulled too hard trying to change it. Maybe there was an eye chip that was stuck, and maybe that's why. I'm not sure. I would imagine though that the string would have to have been sort of cut on something or rubbing on something for it to actually snap like that. So let's look. I do see that the string is not coming through the hole that it typically should be going through, so that could be rubbing as well. It's just hard to know what happened. So let's see if we can get her open. So the one that broke is the one that was attached down here, and it does look like it just snapped off. Let's take our hair off so we can see a little bit better. We're gonna have to replace both strings, so we're gonna go ahead and cut that one. It's very strange. I can't imagine that the string was weak, or somehow it was weakened. That's why I was suspecting potentially that it was rubbing on something. But one of the things I noticed is that the string has been hardened, like with a lighter, And I'm wondering, occasionally that can, it also looks like the lower part of the eyelid is a little bit weak. Don't know if that was from pulling. I also think typically, I've said this before, so it looks like the bottom part of the eyelid has snapped as well. I'm going to try to glue that back on before it gets worse. There are some that say it does not matter what side the knot is on, but for me the knot should always be on this side. So that could be a reason why she was having to pull so hard. But it looks like the string was hardened. Like I said, with a lighter, it's very stiff at the end. And sometimes if you do that too much on this thin string, it can actually weaken it. So, and it also looks like it's been sort of pulled in there, so I don't know how easy it's going to be to get it out. But my concern right now is that we glue this eyelid. It seems very, very fragile. It looks like it's been sanded quite a lot. I don't know if that was because of the glass eyes and making sure that they turn. But because it's so thin, it snapped somehow, probably from the pulling. So let's glue that first and make sure that's not going to get worse. And then we're going to go ahead and see if we can get that string out. She's a very, very pretty doll. I love her. She's got little veins, and her eyelashes or her eyebrows are really, really soft, which I really like. She's really cute. Also want to hang on to her beads as they've been done so we can match them and do them again. So for this eyelid issue, I'm going to use super glue, a very, very tiny amount of super glue, because I really want that to not come apart again for her. So let's see. Super glue I use is Loctite. I highly recommend being ultra careful with super glue. You really only need a very small amount, and I might need to cut the tip off this so it's gotten hard. And we're gonna put the tiniest drop on there. We'll let that sit for a few minutes, and hopefully that's enough. I'm gonna get some tweezers and see if we can pull that string out. Okay, so my concern is that this string has been glued because it's very stiff, and we cannot replace it if we cannot get it out. So let's see if we can cut off as much as we can. There would be the possibility of tying a string to it, so I don't know that I want to completely cut it off because I'm afraid that we'll never be able to get anything in there. But my problem with that is this string might not be very strong, and tying another string to it isn't a super good solution, especially since we really want the knot on this side. So I think we're gonna have to try to get it out of there. I'm trying really hard to get in there without pushing on this. and that's kind of the trouble right now. I have this really long sewing needle that I'm thinking I can push through there, hopefully get this glue out. So I'm not sure if this is something common. I've never seen anyone put glue in here. It makes it really hard now to change this string because that is completely glued in there. So we might have to change the C-bar, which is this piece, and I do actually have extras of this, but I'm gonna have to talk to the owner and see if she wants that additional cost. I really want to make this work, but that's completely glued in there. I'm wondering if I could somehow Dremel that out. I love the challenge of trying to fix something that I've never seen before. Let's see. Problem with the Dremel is making a mistake or an accident. I'm nervous that that's going to happen. Well, give me 1 second to see if I can work on this closer up, and I will be back if we can fix it. Otherwise, I'm going to grab a new C-bar and see if that helps. Alright, so I've decided to take the C-bar off because I think it's going to have to be replaced. I have a part here, but also I might be able to drill down in there, but having it on here is just leaving it too close to making a mistake. So we're going to get the C-bar off, but the hard part of that is getting it off of here. So when I first started customizing, I always took this part off, and it was very nerve-wracking. But I don't do that anymore because of that. I just work on the iMech with it still on there. You can see that the bottom lid is fixed with that little bit of glue, so that's good. So we're going to take it off, see if we can drill through. If not, we're going to go ahead and replace it. Now, it's been so long since I took one of these off. If I remember right, you have to kind of push down on that top part so that you can pry it off, and my concern is hurting this eyelid while doing that. I think I did it before with the X-Acto knife, but I have a new X-Acto knife and it doesn't feel as strong as my old one, and I don't think this is thin enough. I wonder if the tweezers would work. Okay, so I was able to pry it off with the tweezers, and then we need to take the lids off the eyeballs. Not sure which side is better, but now we snapped our lower lid again, so that's gonna have to be something we fix at the end. It's just too fragile. Okay, now to put a new C-bar on, you are going to have to separate the eyeballs, but it's really important to remember what goes where. So it goes like this. So now we have this C-bar off. Let's see if we can drill that out. Problem is I need something long and skinny to go all the way through, and I just don't think if this long needle was scratchy or like a file, it might go through there. I don't think my file tool will go through there either. Ooh, it might be working. Haha! File tool just pulled it right out. Awesome. I'm so glad we don't have to use a new C-bar. So now we should be able to put everything back together. So this goes on there and this one goes on this side, except I'm not sure if I put the C-bar on the right side because it came flying off. So we're gonna have to try it out. Is that right? I think that's right. Okay. So I was looking at the string that I sell and the string that I use, and it is thicker than the string that was used. Not by much, but a little bit. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't using the exact same string, since it didn't work so well. So the string I use is a little bit thicker, so hopefully it will not do this again. And so we are going to put the knot on the opposite side than it was on. We're going to use our lighter to harden it up. Not too much, don't want to make it weak. We are not going to glue it in. And then we're going to put the eyelids back in, or the eyeballs back in the eyelids, and we're going to have to re-glue that one little piece. And hopefully we have everything on the right side. I think we do. Put this part back on. Okay, so now we've got it back together. We need to put the other string on the back. And let's put a little bit of glue back on that bottom lid. Where did I put my super glue? There it is. All right. Probably should have let that sit longer. I am impatient. All right, so we should be able to put it back in here and see if it works. Be very careful. So I'm gonna have to wait longer for that to dry, that bottom one. It's just moving around. So let's let it sit for a few minutes. I'll clean up my mess and hopefully it will be dry enough to put the lids back in. Okay, so I think it's dried enough. I really want to get this done today, so let's see if we can carefully get it in there without it snapping again. It's hard because it's in a place that I normally would push on when I'm putting in a Mac. There, I think we did it. So let's put the T-bar on and make sure everything changes, because I'm not sure if I put the C-bar on correctly. I'm hoping. Okay, you guys, I've been having a ton of problems with my camera today. I thought it was recording and it did not record me putting her back together. So I'm rebeading her strings right now, and I will show you how she works as soon as I'm done doing that. I just wanted to mention, because part of what I talked about when I was putting her back together is trying to make sure that both strings go through this hole. That's the hole that the strings are intended to go through. And that coating around it will protect them from wearing out. So if you can fit your strings through there, you definitely want them going through there. So let's get her finished up here and I will show you how she's working. So as I mentioned, I don't think this part recorded, but you want to, when you pull the strings, to pull straight out and even a little bit up from the back. So you don't want to pull down on the string. You want to pull back and up at a 90-degree angle or a little bit higher, and that will change the eyes more safely. So anyway, she's all fixed up and ready to travel back home to her mom. And I hope you enjoyed watching this repair video. I hope it helped you learn something. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It helps me so much when you guys subscribe. And thanks for watching. I'll be back next week with another video. Bye.